morning, Dubai. How are you doing? Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show, where we go through all the trending stories that everyone in Dubai is talking about. Today, our top story: a former cabin crew and also a dialysis patient are the first to receive a robotic kidney donor surgery in Dubai, and they were using a robotic arm. It's as futuristic as it sounds.
Okay, and other than that, we'll be talking about the baby limits his Instagram comments after receiving backlash for feeding wild animals in Dubai.
We'll be talking about all of the incredible things you can do at half term. We'll be talking about Jollibee, who is king of the ring, and how you can get 50 dirham vouchers, which is incredible. And also, stay tuned, because later in the show, we have Noor Al-Din, host of Angami's newest original podcast, White Talk, joining us in the studio. His podcast is kind of breaking the boundaries of lessons learned in social media. So if you want to hear about that, do stay tuned. But before we get into it, why are we shook this morning?
Why are we shook? Casey, so news came out very recently of this situation that happened in India, and a burglar goes inside the house. So the house is locked, the burglar breaks the lock, gets inside, and he spends a good amount of time trying to find stuff to rob. And then he gets so frustrated, like there is nothing there. He doesn't find money, he doesn't find jewelry, he doesn't find anything worthwhile stealing. And he writes them a letter saying like, why would you lock the door if you have nothing worth stealing? And he just leaves the house in frustration.
What? So many things. First of all, fingerprints. First rule of burglary: don't leave your fingerprints on a piece of paper. He gave up.
I'm not stealing anymore. These people don't deserve to be.
Oh,
I'm done with life.
he literally left a note on the door saying, "I don't like your."
Yeah, there's nothing worth stealing.
How cruel. But the thing is, like, what do you expect to find in a house? For example, like, I don't have expensive things lying around. What does he?
I think in a lot of Asian houses, I don't know, like you have places where you store money, like storages. I don't think it's just Asians. I think a lot of people just have those lockers where they keep money or jewelry or, you know, yeah, safe boxes, jewelry boxes. And I'm sure when you go to rob a house, that's what you look for.
You're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but what about the TV? You know, there's all of those like clear items that you could still get for resale, like the kettle, the toaster.
I think it's tough, you know, when you're robbing a house. Big TV.
When you're considering how big are my hands, I can't take the TV. I'm going to get caught if I'm walking out with, I don't know, with the TV or the golf clubs.
You might get questioned, that too with the whole face mask situation.
Balaclava.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're robbing a house, I just think that's so mean, right? It's so mean. It's like, first of all, you intrude on their home, and second of all, you pretty much say, I'm a thief and your stuff isn't good enough for me. I hope that thief rots in jail.
You know what? I would, if God forbid I were to get robbed, I would want someone like that who just doesn't find it, or like, you know, my luck that he leaves a letter. Like, it's better than getting robbed.
True.
At the end of the day.
But I do always think, you know, I think one of the least secure places for robbing in the world is our luggage when we fly. Oh. You put your bag in. Maybe you lock it, maybe you don't, but it can easily be picked up by someone on the other side. But I always do think, I was like, if anyone ever opens my luggage, then just get like, can just explode with stuff. Yeah. So it's like, no one ever does, which you shouldn't. But if you ever do, it's because it's really stuff that's so specific to that person that it's probably never actually of much value.
Our luggage actually got stolen once.
Really?
When I was traveling with my mom and sisters a few years ago, we were traveling to Sri Lanka, so my mom took a lot of gifts for some of her colleagues in Sri Lanka. Oh. And the suitcase luggage with all the gifts, like the mobile phone sets or whatever, the whole thing got stolen. Not the whole thing, like a good majority of it got stolen.
And she had gifts for the family and the colleagues.
Yeah, messed
up.
But it scars you.
They get you when you have good things in your luggage. Let's jump into our top story today. We're talking about a former cabin crew and dialysis patients are the first to receive robotic kidney donor surgery in Dubai. This is a truly phenomenal story. It all took place at Mohammed bin Rashid University of Medicine and Health Sciences. And they successfully carried out the UAE's first robotic kidney donor surgery on 2 male patients at Mediclinic City Hospital. So the robotic living donor surgeries, they each last about 3 hours. And it's really incredible how they carry them out. So they use small robotic arms that imitate natural dexterity. So if you can imagine a surgeon doing surgeon things, they now have robotic arms to do that. And the robotic arm itself is controlled by a team of surgeons from a console, I think a video game situation, which enabled the removal of the donor kidney through small, teeny tiny incisions. So a little bit of background knowledge for you. Kidneys are located in a small place. There was more medical terms involved in the story, but I've removed them. Kidneys are located in a difficult to reach space, and therefore the robotic arm's instrumentation offers a greater range of motion that the human wrist would find difficult. So it's actually a more efficient and precise action using this robotic arm than it would be using surgeons, who obviously need to be as skilled.
So the patients who received the surgeries were a 42-year-old Dubai resident who was a dialysis patient suffering from the end-stage renal disease prior to surgery, whose younger Dubai-based brother donated his kidney for the operation, and a 32-year-old former flight attendant whose first cousin donated his kidney. Now, the complex surgery using the state-of-art medical technology proves Dubai's rapid advancements and innovative capabilities in the healthcare sector, as well as the potential the city holds as a global medical tourism destination.
I'm still shook by this story. It basically shows the future of surgeries. Surgeons have to be so capable, so steady hands, but it shows you that robotic arms controlled by skilled surgeons can actually now undertake the same surgeries, in this case a kidney donation. It was the first ever in the UAE, and it just goes to show you, like Simran said, that we are going to be a base for medical tourism in future when we can carry out such incredible surgeries.
That is incredible, just because of the fact that, you know, when a family has someone in their household going through this dialysis is a huge, like a very long process, time consuming, and it's just life consuming, you know, like you have to go for it to get your blood cleansed like practically every second day or something. So to have treatment for that now, where, you know, like the person can totally overcome just going through that altogether, it's amazing, amazing. It just gets families out of so much plight.
True. 2 lives have been changed with this.
Thanks to Robo. Are we going to name him? Name the arm?
Robo-arm.
Robo-arm. Rabarm? Genius.
Genius. Moving on to another genius name.
Ali was going to say something. What?
He was going to go,
no buzzer. No buzzer, guys.
Did you like that? I said moving on to another genius name.
The baby. Like really, it's catchy. It's catchy, I gotta say. Now, guys, the baby has limited his Instagram comments after receiving backlash for feeding wild animals in Dubai. Now, the American rapper The Baby, I like saying it, The Baby. Do you want to say it?
The baby.
It's cute when Casey says it. The baby. Yeah, the baby. So what happened was American rapper, he limited his comments on his Instagram post after sharing a video of himself along with his pals feeding wild animals at a privately owned farm in Dubai. Now, the video attracted heavy backlash from the public on the rapper's socials, and just a little backstory on why the rapper was here in Dubai. So he was flown down here for the launch of a brand new floating nightclub, as well as to perform at a popular boxing match over the weekend. Now, a small PSA, as per Dubai laws, it is illegal to unlawfully own or keep exotic animals as pets. Only licensed zoos, wildlife conservation sanctuaries, sanctuary parks, research facilities, and privately owned farms are allowed to possess exotic animals. And there are so many privately owned farms in Dubai, and this very much looks like one of them. And you know, in these, they are like just a space that's allowed. Like, I think there's a certain amount of space where wild animals can be kept in Dubai. So accordingly to the guidelines, these farms then go on to keep animals. So it's, in these situations, it is legal. And yeah. I think in the last few years, the ownership of exotic animals has really been a lot more regulated in the UAE. I think there was a law passed back 2 years ago when, of course, they banned the ownership of wild animals unless, as Simran said, they're in specific places. For example, conservations, sanctuaries, parks, research facilities, and specific privately owned farms. I think they're
more rare than people would tend to believe. And of course that if you are ever, seen with an exotic animal and you aren't regulated to the teeth, you can expect between 10 and 500,000 dirham fines. You can also expect jail time under the new laws. In addition to unlicensed ownership of these wild animals, the law also outlines kind of stricter records of wild or dangerous domesticated or undomestic animals. So all of this ownership should be recorded. Just because these videos, I think, are very, very shocking. People don't like to see exotic animals in any way in a cage, but you think of a zoo because it's you don't like to think of exotic animals who aren't living freely,
like just domesticated.
You don't like to see them domesticated. So in terms of the UAE laws here, they're becoming more strict, and they have been over a number of years. So the ownership of wild animals is always strictly recorded, and if it's not, and if the animals don't have the excessive space that's required, the owners would be fined and jailed. I just think it's worth noting because I think these videos are quite upsetting. Sometimes people really, really are concerned about the welfare of the animals.
Exactly, like they should be, like we should all be. But
let's shift gears for a moment. We want to talk about chicken and get on to some crispier news. It's official. Jollibee has picked the winner of the Spicy Chicken Joy Challenge. First of all, a massive congrats to Chanel. I don't know how you did it. She has been crowned King Bee of the Ring, and she is the winner of a prize worth 10,000 dirham. But for all Jollibee lovers that might be sad to hear that the competition is over, fear not, because there are more prizes of the crispy variety coming your way.
that's right. And if you haven't had the chance to take part in the Spicy Chicken Joy Championship, it's not over yet. Everyone we know has been taking part in the fiery challenge, including Chris Fade and Preeti Malik last week, and Lavnish and Casey also took part in the challenges.
This is why I was so hyped talking about the story, and also why I want to know about Chanel and how she did it and how many pieces she ate, because you basically have this bucket of crispy, fiery, intensely spicy chicken in front of you, and you have 3 minutes to eat it, and it's like a Whopper family bucket. And I was so pumped because I love fried chicken, and I was like, I'm so gonna do this. And I had Lavnish beside me who would be well able to get through a bucket of chicken, I have no doubt. So the clock started, and you go, and you're just like, because I don't know about you, but I would be slightly competitive, and I have 3 minutes, and I'm like ready. Sometimes
we've seen her competitive face.
Sometimes things just turn on, and I'm just but as soon as I started, it was hard because it's spicy, and there's so much in front of you, and I probably ate like a piece and a half.
That's it.
Yeah.
After that long story of being competitive, she only had a piece and a half.
That's why I'm so disappointed, and that's why I want to know about Chanel and how she did. I'd like to see. Simran's a veggie. I'd like to see you try, Ali.
Me?
Yeah.
I can finish that.
No, you can't in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, let's make that happen because, like we said, the fun doesn't stop. And if you want to take part in that challenge,
yeah.
I'm looking at you, Ali. All you need to do is go and buy any King Bee of the Ring bucket. So you can do it in store or online, and then post a photo of you and a friend doing the challenge. A friend. Could be me. And tag Jollibee UAE for a chance to win vouchers of 50 dirham. Now, there are 200 vouchers up for grabs, multiplied by 50 dirham. So if you want to get 50 dirham vouchers back, this is a nice way to do it. The competition ends on 17th of November. So get posting photos of you and friends taking part in the challenge. It's a lot of fun.
We'll do it in the studio.
We'll do it in the studio.
And just record the whole thing.
I kind of just want to get the bucket and just have it for lunch. Like I don't want to go through that again. I've been there. You'd probably take on Lavnish because he beat me.
Oh.
But in terms of if you like fried chicken, I would really I don't like fried chicken. I love it. I love fried chicken so much. And it's very, very crispy. And I actually, to be honest, I hadn't tried the Jollibee buckets before the competition. And now I'm definitely, I have been moved. I have about a couple of favorite fried chicken places. I love it on a Saturday with some garlic sauce.
In the stories where Casey went down with Lavnish, you see the team, okay? You see Jollibee team, and they're like, who would you vote for? And Casey's like, and half of them, more than half, not half, like
all
3/4, okay, all of them were just like rooting for Casey. And then Lavnish just...
That's only because
Comes out victorious.
that's only because I I riled them up. Anyway, moving on to something you guys can check out right now, actually.
Yes, an epic half term at Air Maniacs awaits. Now, with school's half term around the corner, get your kids active and involved in the community with Air Maniacs camp located in Al Quoz Industrial 1. Now, the 15,000 square foot indoor arena is perfect way to keep your kids active during the break. They've got loads of activities for kids in a safe and friendly environment, and kids can play games whilst winning prizes and meeting new friends. And it's also home to the best trampoline parks in Dubai. Not trampoline parks, trampoline park in Dubai.
And of course, the October half-term camp is on until Thursday, 21st from 8:30 to 2 p.m. So we're kind of nearing the end of it, but they have day and week options. And children, you need to be 95 centimeters to join the camp, but that's all right. But you also need to book slots as spaces fill up quickly. So the time is drawing to an end, but if you want to do it today or tomorrow, you still can. And activities include arts and crafts, scavenger hunts, dance, magic shows, balloon bending. It just keeps going. STEM activities, exciting games and prizes, and also just like a great day out, I would say, to get the kids as tired as possible, so you have a chill evening when you get home from work. No, but it looks super cool. Like, it's like you said, one of the best trampoline parks in the UAE. Awesome. Like we talked last time about going to summer camps. We never had this level up of summer camp.
I was just thinking that, like, really, kids have it good these days. Like, the amount of activities put in place for them.
We had an egg and spoon, you know?
And what? Hopscotch.
Hopscotch, yeah.
Man, like, really, kids have it good. Like, we didn't know it as kids. Like, those were good days. Those were really the good days. And then it was all just downhill from there. No, the older you get, the closer you get to adulting, it's just like...
Yeah.
It's like you're at the peak, you know, you're born and you're at the peak, and then it's just like,
yeah, 100% agree. I'd love to revert back to being a baby.
And have your kids, have your parents take you around, put you in these summer camps, enjoy, come back running to them, miss them.
Kids, you have it so good. If you watch, we're jealous. Stay tuned. Today, oh guys, tomorrow's the last day of the week and we're super excited for the long weekend. But next up, we have Nur al-Din, host of Mangami's newest original podcast, White Talk. Nur al-Din has 20 years in the media industry under his belt, and we're going to get under the covers of White Talk, his new Mangami show. Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Right now we're joined by Noor Al-Din, host of Angami's newest original podcast, White Talk. Noor Al-Din has 20 years in the media industry under his belt, but most recently he's turned the tables on hosting and he's asking some of the most famous faces in the region about life lessons on social media. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you.
I believe we are super excited to get to know you more before we jump into Angami and your new podcast. 20 years in the media industry, you must have some stories.
20 years and more. I started in 1997 with kids shows.
In Dubai?
Yeah, with Dubai TV.
With kids shows?
Yes.
How did you even make that jump and what was the media scene like back then?
It was quite interesting. Sorry to say it, it's early morning. I used to tell the management we're just like a hungry person who wants to cook something to eat. So this is how we used to make shows. So, you know, there was no literally a grid in each season. The grid was like the Dubai Shopping Festival, summer surprises, something like this. So we used to do shows and with more love than now, I would say.
More passion or more
love, more
creativity?
passion, more creativity. We had more freedom to talk about stuff. Yeah, it was nicer. For me, it was nicer. Maybe because I was younger, maybe.
Jaded. What was your audience like back then?
Kids for sure.
And how did you develop on from kids' shows?
This is a very interesting story. So when I was reaching the teenage, period of time, the TV station told me, we don't want to lose you, just let's go behind the scenes to learn something. So I went to the production side because I was between, like I'm not a kid, but I'm not a teenager, I'm not an adult yet. So it looked so awkward for me as like, when your mustache is growing and they don't know, like, are you a kid? No, you're a teenager. Oh, we cannot put you in any other shows. So the period was from 1999 up until 2002 maybe. I used to do a production assistant, scriptwriter assistant, a director assistant, something like this. Yeah. So I worked behind the scenes as well.
And when did you realize that you were going to be doing this for the rest of your life? What was your passion? What stories did you want to tell?
I think after the first show I did when I was a kid, it was called From the Ocean to the Gulf. It was just a kids show. We were like reporters in a green screen chroma, and then I remember the first report I did was about Cameroon and something to do with Cameroon. I don't remember. So now in Expo 2020, when I went to the pavilions, I told them, take me to the Cameroon pavilion. I want to feel like I want to go back in days. So how did I feel, or when did I feel that I wanted to continue? After the first show. And
take me back. So like it would be now, unlike before, parents are potentially putting their kids into the media industry.
They are.
And they're like, oh, this is a career option. Potentially, exactly. But back when you started, it was very, very rare. So actually,
it was rare and hard.
Were your parents pushing you, or was it something that you really wanted to do?
Just me, yeah. My parents are different. My dad used to go on TV. I think in 1995, I was a kid. I don't remember it very well. But my dad is sheikh, so basically people will go and ask him Islamic questions and he answers. But he told me, no, it's not my thing, so he stopped. But he didn't really push me to go on TV. He didn't encourage me to go to the TV industry. He told me it's so challenging, it's not really nice, so this is my advice to you. So I always say I thank myself because I believed in myself and I pushed myself. It was always me pushing myself to do it because, as I told you, after the first show I did when I was a kid, I thought, I think this is what I want to do. And then, I just kept doing it. Well,
it's so interesting because now it's a more regular career path. How do you think the media industry has changed? And do you and it's interesting because your show with Angami touches on social media. Do you like the media industry? Do you like social media industry? And would you recommend it to kids going to start at your age?
I actually do. It's like love and hate relationship, let me say, because on social media until now, we don't have ethics like TV, I would say, or rules or regulations, which I prefer more. You have more freedom, but freedom sometimes is a bit scary, especially for kids. But I encourage every single person who would love to have the TV experience or the social media experience, just go out there, talk about topics, go live, talk to people and see the feedback. From the feedback you can tell if you're good enough or not. Maybe you need to enhance something or just it's not your thing. So try, why not?
What is kind of a let's say before Angami, what is your career highlight? Because obviously you've had many awards, which is when you look back and you say, okay, this was the moment for me that I really, really loved.
I think I loved my experience back in days in 2008 with Al Arabiya TV. I was privileged actually to experience the youth culture and life in the whole Middle East, because I traveled for 45 days with another colleague of mine. I don't remember what was her name. Anyways, hi, if you see us now. She's a very lovely Saudi girl, but she disappeared. She did only this show with me. So I got to see how the youth culture, let's say, in the Middle East properly, like Morocco, Tunisia, like all over the Middle East. So it was a lifetime experience.
Amazing.
To me. Yeah.
And let's jump into the Angami show, which is actually quite interesting. So it's White Talk. It's one of their latest original series. Yeah. And White Talk guests will open their hearts and unveil life lessons behind the social media image, which is a very interesting topic for you. So first of all, how did the opportunity come about?
I had this idea for the past 5 years, to be honest, and I passed it to so many TV stations, and they used to say, no, we don't like it. It's not a TV material. Sorry, I'm too blunt.
Well, this is the feedback you got. So what was that like? How did you keep going after getting negative feedback?
Because I believed it. I believed in it. And basically the idea was a bit different. The directing idea was so new. So I made it 2 shows. One of the shows, one of it is a social media show. I only posted 2 episodes of it on YouTube. And then now I'm pausing because Angami is taking lots of my time, and my other two TV shows with Abu Dhabi TV. So the idea was completely different, but I enhanced it with Angami. And when I told Angami I want to do a podcast, it's a visual podcast. It's not only audio, so audio and video, to have both options for the audience. They were so welcoming. Actually, they were so happy, and I would love to thank my management, Hugh Management, because they pushed it a lot. And they did all the communication with Angami, so we made it happen.
So talking about the theme of the show, so you speak to the region's most famous faces. Let's talk about some of the ladies you speak to and what you're talking about.
I would say the first episode, because the first episode is out already. Now, tomorrow would be the 3rd one. So first episode was with Lujain Imran. Lujain is a very famous TV presenter. She's a successful story, let me say. So I made sure all the guests are successful stories. They made it out of nothing, let me say. They had a dream, and now the dream is happening, and they're living their dream. So why not?
But it's so interesting because, let's say, for example, Lujain, she has nearly 10 million followers on Instagram.
That's so true.
And she's perceived to be living the dream.
Yeah.
When you spoke to her, does she believe she's living the dream?
I think she has, she passed through a lot, in her life, because I know her in person. She's a friend of mine as well. So she is living the dream. At the same time, she's trying to, reach out to other dreams or making other dreams happening. She's shifting from, let's say, TV presenter or public figure to a businesswoman, where she tries to, let's say, I would say, mark her name in the real estate market here in the region and outside as well.
Interesting.
So she is a successful story. She made it out of nothing, I would say. She was a banker back in days. She moved from Saudi to Bahrain, from Bahrain to UAE, following her dream, and the dream is happening. It's true. And then she told me, I never thought that I would reach this level and I would reach here, where I am today. And I think someone like Lujain, and even the rest of the ladies, I would say, that I interviewed, there were 9 ladies. They all had something in their mind, and they made it happen. And most of them, majority of them, told me, God gave me more than what I deserve. Like, they never expected themselves to be in this position, or to be in this, I'm not going to say job, because most of them, they don't have jobs. They are the boss. They're their own boss. And this is something very important to me, to show women and other people as well, everyone, you can be your own boss. You don't have to be an employee all the time. It's nice to learn, and then khalas, by the end of the journey, you have to have your own business. Or even if you are an employee, you have to own yourself. You don't be controlled by people, by someone, by a corporation, because this is what I believe as well.
Well, this is the thing, but I think a lot of people look and say that's the dream. And then you see these people with lots and lots of followers, but then I think maybe from your podcast you learn that it's not all happiness?
It's true.
What are I guess, the harsher lessons that these women have learned from being in the public space?
Yeah, especially when I tackled the friendship topic.
Interesting.
And I would say the psychological part as well. Like most of them, they went through depression, but majority of them didn't talk about it on camera. They spoke about it off camera. And some of them, they told me it's fine. I don't mind to say, like, I had ups and downs in my life and until now, because I learned from my downs. And I'm actually one of those people who talk about also mental health all the time on social media, because I believe it's so important to show people that we're human beings. We're not positive all the time.
100%.
I'm not positive 24/7. Yeah.
No one is.
No one
No
is.
one
Like,
is.
whatever you see on social media is just social media. Don't believe it all the time.
Well, this is what was going to be one of my questions. Did you find that the questions and the answers were very genuine? Do you think that they opened up to the best of their abilities?
99% yes, because believe it or not, I didn't prepare for the show, so it was all inside. It was a chit chat. So I prepared the introduction, which is a breathing technique. Just breathe in, breathe out.
With each woman?
Yes.
Can we do it now?
Of course.
We should have done it before the show.
Let's take a deep
introduce
breath.
it. Okay.
Okay. 3 times. Okay, now close your eyes. Do you remember where were you 10 years ago?
What year is it?
Oh, we're in 2021. 2011. What were you doing?
I was a university student.
Did you expect yourself one day you will be sitting here presenting this show?
Not. I was a very terrible university student, so not at all.
Interesting. What did you study?
Journalism and Irish.
Nice. You can open your eyes now. So this is how I started every single episode with them.
Amazing.
So I was just trying to take them in a journey in their past to show that they need to appreciate what's happening now in their lives, because we are our past as well, the present and the future. So this is what I believe, because as a person I believe no matter what you pass through in your life, your past will affect you, even if you do all the cleansing, all the meditation, theta healing, whatever healing you do. This is what I believe. You are part of your past. No matter how you try to delete it, terminate it, deny it, you are part of your past. And the past, your past is inside you. No matter how much you try to let go of the past, it's part of you.
100%. What a fabulous way to begin it, and for people to have gratitude from where they've come from.
Yeah.
Especially as you said, they're all self-made women. Why the focus solely on females?
It was a pure coincidence, because as a male presenter, as a man, I always connect with female more with when I do interviews, especially on TV. Like I noticed this when I had a female guest. They talk more. Sorry guys. Like I love you guys, but I have to be honest. Usually male, in my experience, men do manipulate answers usually on TV. They're not as genuine as women. I'm talking about majority. I'm not talking about everyone, but majority.
In your experience.
Of people that I experienced. So I noticed women can be more vulnerable on camera. Yeah, especially if you make them forget that there is camera. And I'm good at this. So I chose women because I think the audience will connect with them more. And it's harder, no matter what, even with the women empowering we have here and in our GCC countries in the Middle East, with all the the movement happening now, which I highly appreciate and I love it. Women will find difficulties to make it happen more than men. So I was like, let's highlight then some of the successful stories. At the same time, some of those women are being criticized 24/7 on social media because people doesn't know their background. And I would say 3 out of the 9 female, they've never done a long interview like what I did with them, because it's almost an hour. The podcast is an hour. It's like 55 minutes. So they used to reject all interviews because they believed people want something out of this interview. And maybe the presenter who's going to interview them or the person who's going to have this chit chat with them is not a good person. So the moment I approach majority of them, they're like, yeah, with a pleasure, because we know that you're an ethical person. You're not going to go deep into our personal life. You're not going to invade my privacy. So we respect that. So yes, let's do it.
It's so interesting because I think in Western media, interviewers can tend to try and find the negative and find that kind of clickbait moment that can spin whatever they've said. But obviously here,
it is here as well. And with some of the presenters, yes, but I'm against this school or this type of interviews because I don't want to attract, the wrong audience to my shows, I would say. Because I believe audience who wants to connect with negative, they have negative stuff. If they want to connect with the positive, they have positive stuff.
I love that. And we'll finish on that because it's so true in terms of finding your positivity rather than finding your negativity. If people want to take a listen, how can they do so?
Just watch the podcast.
Watch the podcast, listen to the podcast. It's on Angami. It's one of their new original shows, delving deep into the life of some of the region's most famous faces. Thank you so much, Noor Eldeen, for your time.
Pleasure.
Guys, that is it for us on the Lovin Dubai show. We're back with you every single weekday morning, same time, same place. Stay safe and wash your hands.